Welcome back students in my class of social science, and today we are dealing with the chapter of political science, chapter 6, the media and democracy. So this is part 2 students. Part 1 we have concluded till the introduction of media's ethics and accountability. So in this chapter students we are going to read that what are the media's, what code of ethics, what code of conduct and ethics are there which are meant for media. So first of all let us see. Media plays a very important role in a democracy. Okay, and we have also seen that media has a power to bring about positive and negative changes in a country, in our nation. So, therefore, it should realize and understand its duty, responsibility, that this power should be used by media with caution, with utmost care and carefulness. Okay, so some code of conduct and some principles of media are there which they should follow for the interest of the public and the nation. So, the first one is maintaining accuracy and fairness. So, the news must be reported with truth and honesty, with fairness, and in an unbiased manner. The people must never be given any false information, false or fake information, which can be a very dangerous act for the society. It can spread no sort of rumor should be spread related to the fake news. All reports should be acquired from the reliable sources and then only should be presented and published broadcasted by the media. There should be no scope, no chance for spreading rumors or half truths or fake news. And the information which is going to be broadcasted or presented by media should be verified, should be checked, cross checked before it is going to be made public. Otherwise, what will happen? It will develop a negative feeling, a bad feeling towards the other communities. So, it can be a very sensitive issue. So, media has to be very cautious, very careful, and it should not present any news which can hurt the feelings of any community or the self dignity, the feelings of dignity and self respect of any person, any single person. Second is respecting people's privacy. Media must have respect for privacy. This is very important because when famous people are in the news for some personal reason, we often see very famous people are there belonging to different backgrounds. They come on the TV live. So media must not play the role of a judge and support dismissal of the charges. They should not give any kind of verdict or any decision that this person is innocent, this person is guilty, so he or she should get the strict punishment. No. Media should not play the role of a judge. Simply, media should present both the sides of a coin, both the sides of the incident. Okay, because it is a duty, it is a power of the court system of India to give the verdict, to give the decision. And here you can see one very important thing that media cannot do the recording also without the knowledge of a speaker. Okay, and unless it is very important on the legal ground. Then protecting the interest of the nation. Now this matters related to the safety, security of our country. Okay, so media should not present any sort of news, any sort of any secret. They should not discuss live openly any sort of secret confidential news which are directly related to the our nation's security, our army, our military. Okay, and because what happen in such cases, if information on disputes, okay, if such kind of for example very sensitive issues are live, are having the live telecast on TV, then it will again have a negative impacts on the people. Okay, so such kind of news should be presented in a very cautious careful manner. So anything related to any particular community should be presented in a very humble way, polite way, decent way, without causing any sort of violent reactions in the society. Now, nobody is perfect. The humans are likely to commit the mistake. Okay, so everybody is likely to commit the mistake. So sometimes media also commit mistakes. So media is also committing the errors. Errors means mistakes. So in that case, what media should do? So when any error is committed and it is come into notice by media, then what they should do? So immediately, promptly, media should publish the right news, and on if it is something has presented a fake any false information has been broadcasted on TV, then again the media person should come on the TV and should give the correct version. The correct information should be presented again with the apology. Okay, that by mistake it has happened and they did not intend to hurt the sentiments of any particular community. Okay, people, maybe it is not possible, students, that all the people will agree with the news and with the thoughts and the views presented on the media. So there is a particular section of the society which are not happy, which are not agree with the way the news are presented on the TV, the open discussion, open debate. Sometimes we go to watch the movie also. So 50% people like the movie, 50% may not. So we cannot force anyone to follow the same kind of thought process. Similarly, if the people those are not agree with the kind of news presented on TV, so such section of society also should be given a chance, fair chance, to present their ideas through the column in the newspaper, because everybody is having the fundamental right to express their views. Now this is a Khabar Lehariya, student. As you can see, Khabar Lehariya, a local newspaper printed in the local dialect of Bundeli Awadhi. Okay, and here you can see the problem related to societies are published here. Okay, local crime reports, problem, and this is a complete information. Okay, yeah. So this is already, yes. So students, we have covered up just now the topic, very important topic, media ethics. Okay, these are the guidelines and instructions for the media to follow for the interest of the public and for the interest of the nation. Information, right information, accountability, empowerment, comfort, and democracy. Okay, should not spread any fake news. So this we have covered up. Code of ethics and accountability. Censorship also we have covered up right now. Censorship, in which the government has issued the order not to publish or not to present any sort of news which are related to the offensive activities, criminal activities, okay, which are indecent, which are vulgar, which can cause a violent reaction in the society. Now, our next code of ethics, students, avoid vulgarity. Now, vulgarity means which is bad in taste, which is very indecent, which can have the abusive language, okay, which cannot be presented in the society publicly, and which can have the very negative impact and spread negative messages in the society. So, such kind of things should be avoided by media. The media should not publish or broadcast any kind of news which is vulgar, which is very cheap, indecent, okay, which can have very negative impact in the society. Okay, then for example, robberies, killings, child marriages, all these media should not glorify such kind of news. Should not present these kind of news with the layers of the spices, okay, and should not take any favor of such kind of incidents. And the last one is, last code of ethics is showing caution while criticizing the action of the court. Now here we are having in our country, we are having the separate court system which is known as judiciary, and the court system follows the laws of the constitution. So we can say that in India we are having the constitutional laws, and the court system, they give the decisions and follow strictly the laws which are mentioned in the constitution. So courts are the interpreters of the, our Supreme Court is the interpreter of the Constitution. So if in any matter, in any issue, court has given any verdict, any decision, so media should not misuse their power of freedom of speech, should not criticize. For example, it is not necessary that always opposition party will criticize the ruling party, despite of the fact when the ruling party is working very nicely for each and every section of the society. So it is not necessary that we should do criticism of every person. We should welcome the new ideas, we should accept the new talent, we should accept the changes and welcome the new changes in the society. Okay, so with this we have covered up the code of ethics, And now our next topic is the government and the information. Yes, students. Now, government and the information. So, what sort of information do we want from the government? We expect from the government, and why? Because as we are paying the taxes, and through these taxes, this money goes to the government, and we have only elected our government. Okay, through the process of election, through the fair policies. So then it is a accountability responsibility of the government to give us information that what type of laws they are making in the parliament. Now we cannot go as a person we cannot go personally in the parliament. So how do we come to know that what laws, rules, regulations, norms are being made by the government for different section of the society, and what actions and what uh, proper plannings are there, welfare schemes are there, programs are there for the girls, for the Dalit people, and for the farmers, for different sections of the society. So it is the government's duty that they should give us information so that we can get to know about the rights and duties. Otherwise, there will be a lot of chaos in the country if we will not come to know about the government's actions, their working, their agendas. There will be a lot of confusion in the society. Okay? So, in a democratic country, the people are having the right to know about the activities of the government to whom they have elected. Okay? So, it is our right to know. Now, our government is also using the mass media. We have seen time to time our Prime Minister coming live on television and giving us precautions regarding this all pandemic, and on our national days also, national festivals also, we can hear live the speech delivered by our Prime Minister. Okay, time to time we can see the speech of our CM also, sometimes President also, Governor also. So this way, government is also using the media to give information to the people, to speak to the people directly, and also to provide the education, entertainment. So we are having a separate department of government which is responsible for giving the information. And this is known as the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Okay, so this department of government is responsible for developing, regulating, and sending the information to the people. Okay, through different means. Nowadays, they are using the digital media, online media, social media, and among the government is having their own media units. Among them, some of them are very famous and very important. They are Press Information Bureau, Publications Division, and the Power Prasar Bharati. And we all have heard the name of All India Radio and Doordarshan, that is DD1. Okay, so we have all have heard of the name of these news channel. And now we are going to start our very important topic, students, RTI. What is RTI? Right to Information Act. What is an act? A law. When a bill, practically it is when a bill is passed by both the houses and signed by the president, when it comes to public, it is known as act or law. So related to right to information, we are having so much of information. So now we are going to focus on RTI, that is Right to Information Act. Okay, so what is RTI? So the Right to Information Act is an act of the parliament which gives citizens the right to seek and get information from a public authority like the government or any other institution. Okay, and this Right to Information Act of India, that is a Government of India, enacted the Freedom of Information Act in the year 2002. Okay, but in 2002 it was passed, but some loopholes were there, some problems were there. So then continuously, when our educated aware citizens of a country were forcing the government to enact the right, to bring this right, then finally this right came into existence and came into force in all over the country on 12th October 2005. So this is a date when the RTI came into force, came into existence. According to Right to Information Act of 2005, it gives the citizens the right to seek information regarding policies and procedures of the government. They can also question the expenditure spent on various activities, the short supply of electricity, water, and other basic facilities and services to the people. So there is a story, interesting story, real story, that how this act came into existence. So this incident took place in Rajasthan in Biawar in the year 1990. So there was a movement, okay, a movement was there demanding the right to information. And here what happened in Rajasthan in this year, the group of the laborers, they have demanded some documents from the government officers because these laborers were not getting the proper salary. Okay, so this way they felt that there is something wrong, and the people those who are employed, they are not getting the full wages. Okay, they were not getting the daily payment. Laborers were not getting the daily wages. So that is why the laborers, they wanted to see the records. They wanted to see that what amount of wages have been fixed by the government. But government officers, they refuse to show them these government documents, government records. Okay, and they have given this reason. They have given this reason that these records are government secrets, so we cannot open it. We cannot reveal this information. Then one organization called Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, MKSS. Okay, so it was formed for the cause of these people only. Okay, and the main aim of this MKSS was to get the right to see the documents and the copies which are related to the public works, because he wanted to know about the amount of daily wages fixed by the government. Okay, so the MKSS has raised awareness on this issue amongst the people, amongst the labor class people, through Jan Sunwai, public hearing, and they also protested a lot. Okay, and they have cleared very clearly, they have given this information to the government that unless and until their demands are not met, they will not be shown the papers and documents. They will not withdraw their protest. Okay, so this kind of movement had proceeded and advanced in Biawar and Jaipur also. Now, government officer, what was the reaction of the government officers? Still, they were not in favor of showing the government documents. But on the other hand, now government, they understood and they realized the importance and the seriousness of this issue. They understood that this way the labor class people are being exploited when they are not knowing about their daily wages. So then government paid a heed, government paid an attention to the people of Rajasthan and finally listened and paid a serious attention to the demand of these people, and then it passed a law on the right to information in 2000. So first of all, this was by the state government, it was passed in the year 2000, and then afterwards, getting inspired by this law, several other states also passed this law, and ultimately in 2005 the central government passed this law of RTI, Right to Information Act. Okay, now today as Jammu Kashmir has become a union territory, so earlier it was not applicable in Jammu Kashmir, but today in present scenario RTI is applicable and has come into force in Jammu Kashmir also. So it is a very good positive aspect. Now what are the important provisions of this act? Every public authority, institution, body, whatever you are going to establish, okay, whatever controlled or funded by the government, they have to maintain their records, written records, okay, in the form of register documents. And nowadays we can preserve the we can prepare the online records also, soft copy, hard copy. So these records can be easily accessed by the people, they can be checked by the people. Okay, so this way we can say that all citizens have the access to information, okay, related to any period, any form, in official language. The people are having the right to inspection, right to inspection of records, public works, sample of materials. Okay, the public information officer is PIO. Okay, so PIO is a public officer information. So for every institution, those who are working according to this RTI, it is compulsory for all the institution to appoint one public information officer who is known as PIO. And the PIO, the people, those who want to know some information from the government, on the basis of RTI, the people, a common person, can request for any information. He can take the copies of documents. He can inspect them also, check it out also. The people can take the certified samples of work, including audio, video tapes, floppies, CDs, printouts. Okay, and it is very compulsory for institutions to appoint PIO, Public Information Officer, and Public Information Officer has to respond to the request submitted by a person, common person in a particular department. Okay, and he needs to act within 5 days, within 5 days. So this way RTI has made our government answerable to the people. Okay, so it is our duty also to use this act in a judicious manner. We should not misuse any power. And then public information officer helps the citizen to get the information. Then a nominal fees is applied here. That way no fees is taken from the people below the those who are those who belong to the below poverty line. And you don't have to give any reason here. If a person who is applying for this who's forwarding the application, here he is not required to mention any reason for which reason he is requesting for the information, and this information is provided within 30 days of the receipt of the request. So with this, students, we have completed our chapter. I hope you all have understood it. So now let us have a look at slides. Some of the slides, let us have a look. This is the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Through the social media, we get to know Mr. Prakash Javadekar is our current Information Broadcasting Minister. Okay. Mr. S. Jaishankar is our current Foreign and Cultural Exchange Minister. So, this is a Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. These are the some of the government units. Okay, government media units through which they present the information for the people related to education. Okay, from Doordarshan, Prasar Bharati. Okay, New India Samachar. Okay. RTI also. Let us see some of the slides, students. Okay. So just see. It was enacted on 15 June, assented to 22 June, and finally commenced on 12th October 2005. But it is applicable in Jammu and Kashmir also today. This I am repeating once again. Okay. So this we have seen RTI. It is for empowering this every citizen. Okay, we can take the copies of any government documents. We can ask any questions from the government or seek any information. Inspect any government documents. Inspect any government works. We can take the sample of materials of any government work. So these are the provisions of RTI. Okay, these are also some of the features. And RTI already I have explained you. Okay. When you are asking for the information as a matter of right, it is called the right to information. And these are some of the objective, students. Okay. This way, with the help of RTI, we come to know that what wrong things are also happening. That way, our government is working very honestly. Okay. But still somewhere, if any malpractices are there, unfortunately. So, the transparency is maintained through RTI. Okay. So this kind of information, students, we can get. Okay. Records, documents, this way. Memos, emails, opinion. Okay. Through this way, we can get the information. So with this only, I am going to conclude the chapter, students. Have a good day.